This is my review of the Engwe Engine X. Once again, I bought this bike with my own money, so this video isn't sponsored in any way at all. The Engine X is priced at £1,050 on the Engwe website. I will put a link in the comments. It's not an affiliate link or anything, so I don't get any discount when you do. It's just a direct link to the Engwe UK website. If that changes and I do get a code at any point in the future, I will update the description to rectify that. But as of now, currently making the video, it's just a standard link to Engwe's website. So, if you watched my previous video, the pre-review, you'll know that it took me a while before I got a working charger. I did make some alterations to the bike and build it in that time. So I don't actually have any footage of me putting it together. I do have some pictures, as you can see. The alterations were basically just I added 203mm brake discs. So when the bike comes, it comes in a big box, and I mean a big box. Like, you can't carry that on your own. You'll need somebody to help you, or you can drag it, but you can't carry it. When you open the box, it's really well packaged. Like, there's foam covering everything, tie clips. Like, I genuinely don't know what more Engwe could do to protect your bike in transit. It's really well packaged. When I put it together, I reckon it took me probably 2 hours. There's really not much to do, there's nothing complex, there's no technical stuff. Everything's all connected already. It's just literally like, put the front wheel on, front mudguard, seat, pedals, the handlebar stem, connecting the handlebars to the handlebar stem itself. Everything's already wired up, ready to go. It's just a matter of putting those bits on the front light, and then you're ready to go. In the box you get everything you need. You get a small toolkit. You're missing a small LNG for adjusting the computer position. You get your charger. Also, when the bike comes, you do need to charge the battery. So I'd recommend when you get everything out of the box, put it on charge straight away, and then obviously you can use it sooner. When mine came, it came with an EU charger. I did make a complaint to Engwe, and whether they've altered that since I don't know, but just be prepared, it might come with an EU charger and you may have to buy some sort of adapter to use it in UK plugs. On my first ride, the stand fell off. Not the full stand, just the bottom, like, adjustable section. The screw came out and I lost it. I did get a replacement screw in the end. No, it's all fine, but before you go out on your bike, just make sure everything's tight and ready to go. You don't want things falling off on you, do you? Right, let's have a look at the bits. The tyres are 20x4 inch Chaoyang quap tyres. The brakes are 160mm mechanical brakes. Now in the pictures it's not going to show that because mine are 203mm mechanical brakes. I upgraded them myself. On the Engine X, I'm not sure I recommend that because the front one's fine, but the back one, when you put on the new disc and you put on the bits to move the caliper, it puts it extremely tight against the rear rack. So you're probably better off going 180mm if I'm honest, if you do upgrade. You don't really need to, but if you do, I'd probably go 180mm on the back. I'm too lazy, I'm not changing mine now. The gears are a 7-speed Shimano gear set. They're pretty common, they're very reliable, smooth gear changes, simple to use. The rear rack, it does actually have writing on it saying that the maximum load is 25 kilos. The rack looks extremely strong if I'm honest. I don't think the 25 kilos is for the rack, but maybe because it's on rear suspension and they don't recommend putting the weight on the rear suspension. But yeah, it's a very solid rack. The computer is a YL80C display unit. It shows everything you need. It has quite a bit of adjustment that you can do on it. It's visible. It's a good little computer, I think. The computer is set up in kilometers per hour. It's very easy to change to mile per hour. There will be a tutorial on my YouTube page coming soon. It's probably on by now, but if not, it'll come soon. The seat is a nice comfortable padded seat. The Engine X has front and rear suspension. It's a very comfortable ride. I have to say I do like the rear suspension on this. It's set reasonably firm, so it's not just bouncy all the time, and I like it like that. The front suspension has this blue switch where you can lock it, but again I don't know why you'd want to do that. Like, that just defeats the purpose, surely. It comes with front and rear mud guards. They're both made of steel. They're nice and wide, so it stops any bits of dirt flicking up at you. The handlebars on the Engine X are 25 inches wide. I don't know if you watched my previous video of the EP2 Pro, but that bike has 22-inch handlebars. The Engine X is a bit more sturdy, but in all honesty, the EP2 Pro was fine. I didn't feel that 22 inches was too small. The ride position is nice and comfortable, if I'm honest, on both bikes. The pedals, they're still flawed. The grip on them is fine, they're decent to pedal, but the locking mechanism is a bit too flimsy. Like, there's been at least 5 times now whereby the pedals kind of half folded itself while I've been using it. This handle, again, it's just not big enough to get your hand in comfortably, and when you carry it, it really digs into your hand. So as a carry handle, it's completely useless. This stand, it's useless. You're not really going to have your bike folded often enough to use it or to justify it. When it's not folded and you try and get your bike downstairs, it catches on the top stair. So yeah, it's just annoying in the way. I don't understand why they couldn't have made a folding one or something that just you can put away and get out when you need it, rather than this thing that's always in the way. The battery is a 48 volt 13 amp hour lithium battery. I have done a test of full power to no power, and it did basically about 30 miles. That was on pedal assist full. So yeah, your range is about 30 miles. The bike has front and rear lights. The rear lights also a brake light. They're wired permanently to the battery, so as long as you've got power in your bike, you've got lights. Yeah, they're bright enough. They're more than adequate. The bike's a folding bike, but it doesn't really feel like it's practical for folding. It's quite awkward to fold, and it's heavy. You wouldn't like fold it up to put it on a train or a bus. Maybe for storage in your house, but then again I don't see it. So it's kind of more a gimmick than an actual practicality, if that makes sense. It's really hard to judge this as a bike. Everything that makes it good as an e-bike makes it terrible as an actual bike. It's too heavy. The fat tyres make it harder to pedal. It's pretty useless as a bike. These things though don't really stop it being a good e-bike. I mean, the fat tyres make it more sturdy. The weight's not really an issue because the motor's doing the work. Like, you're pedalling as a gesture. I'm not really sold on the pedal assist. It's not Engwe's fault, basically it's the way the motor works. You pedal and then a little delay later the motor kicks in and does its job. It takes a little while to get used to it, if I'm honest. It's like it's nothing and then it kicks in, and it's quite powerful when it kicks in. I mean, once it's going, it does its job really, really well and propels you along nicely. The bike has pedal assist modes as well. Basically you're telling the bike how much help you want with pedalling. I don't really find them much use, to be honest. The low ones really don't help at all. I'd rather just the bike do all the work, so I put it in 4 most of the time. Now bear in mind I'm in the UK and we're limited to 15.5 miles an hour, so if you unlock it and do it at full speed, maybe it's more useful. When your bike comes, it's restricted to 15.5 miles an hour and your throttle's turned off. It has to be, basically, to make it road legal in the UK. If you turn off the restrictions, the bike will do 27 miles an hour. You can also turn the throttle back on as well. Both are really easy to do, and there'll be tutorials on my YouTube page for both. However, once you do this, it's for off-road and private land only. If you're riding on the road with a de-restricted bike and the throttle on, it's technically not on the APC anymore, and the police can seize it or give you points on your licence or maybe a fine or something, so do it at your own risk. I don't advise it, but it's your bike. The brake test. As you can see, it stops well. These are 203mm brake discs. The bike comes with 160mm ones, so the original brakes aren't quite as good, but I feel like the 160mm ones are more than adequate. The build quality isn't perfect. Let's just say they built it for price rather than built it with love. You get what you pay for though. If you want perfect welds and a light frame and the best materials, that all adds up, so these are places where bike manufacturers will skimp a bit to save costs. I do feel the value for money is really good. You get a lot for the price you're paying, if I'm honest. The bike handles most terrains really well. Grass, gravel, dirt paths, roads, sand on paths. It's not really suited to riding on the beach, as you're going to see. The issue with riding on the actual beach is the tide. If the tide's just gone out, the sand's wet and sticky like it is now, and as you can see I fell off. On a warm day the sand becomes dry quicker, and then it's like loose and slippy, so it's not really good for your bike then either. The only time it would be good for the bike is when the sand's quite compact and hard. I do feel the bike's pretty sturdy, if I'm honest. I wouldn't normally go down steps like those, but I did feel the bike should be able to handle them without an issue. As far as hills go, the hills around here, it's handled fine. We don't really have proper hills as such. It's basically bridges that go over railway tracks, but those it's handled without any issue. Would I recommend the bike? Yeah. For the price it's at, it's good value for money. I don't know of any bikes that are better for that price. I bought one and I don't regret buying it. I'm happy with my purchase. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. When I made the first lot of videos for this review, there was a quite loud squeak coming from the rear suspension. So I had to remake the videos basically. That'll be why in some I've got a coat on and some I haven't. The squeak was cured really easily, to be fair. I just put WD-40 on all the movable bits on the suspension really. If you do buy one, I would recommend getting wing mirrors. They make life much easier and it's much safer. But other than that, you're good to go. Yeah, if you buy one, enjoy it. If you have any questions or stories you want to share, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like the content I'm making, please like, share, follow and subscribe if you can, it'll help me. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.